Intro. There comes a moment in every man's life when he begins to realize that attraction isn't about looks, status, or charm. It's about energy, presence, and truth. The kind of man a woman becomes addicted to isn't necessarily the richest or the most handsome. It's the one who has learned the quiet art of being centered. Cornel West once said, "You can't lead the people if you don't love the people. You can't save the people if you don't serve the people." And that truth extends to relationships because love isn't control, it's service. Not submission, but deep presence. Not performance, but authenticity. So today we're diving deep into the 3 beautiful behaviors that make her addicted to you. Not from a place of manipulation, but from a place of growth. From the wisdom of philosophers like Cornel West, who teaches us that love is a form of courage, and from the real experiences that separate boys from men. Let's start this journey by peeling away the layers of what attraction truly means, because real attraction isn't something you get, it's something you become. Let's begin. The beauty of emotional stability. When a woman meets a man who is emotionally grounded, she feels something she can't always describe. Safety. Not physical safety, but emotional safety. The kind that makes her breathe easier around him. The kind that allows her to open her heart without fear of being judged or abandoned. Cornel West often talks about the courage to love in a world filled with chaos and confusion. Emotional stability is that courage in action. It's not about suppressing emotions. It's about learning to feel them without being controlled by them. A man who is calm when others panic, who listens before he speaks, who doesn't need to prove his worth in every conversation, that man radiates strength. His silence carries power. His peace becomes contagious. When she tests you, and yes, she will, she's not trying to break you. She's trying to feel you. She's trying to see if your peace is real or just a mask. The moment she sees that you remain centered in your truth, that her emotions don't throw you off balance, she starts to trust you on a level that's rare. Because emotional stability is the root of trust. It's the quiet voice that says, "I'm here, I'm not leaving, and I'm not afraid." Women become addicted not to your words, but to how they feel in your presence. If your presence feels like peace, she'll crave it more than anything else. She'll think about you in the middle of her day, not because of what you said, but because of the way your energy made her feel calm, safe, and alive. So work on your peace. Guard it. Build it through stillness, through discipline, through truth. Because when you are emotionally stable, you don't chase, you attract. Remember this. The man who controls himself doesn't need to control anyone else. And that's the kind of man every woman subconsciously longs for. A man whose peace cannot be disturbed by the noise of the world. That's the first beautiful behavior. Emotional stability. The quiet strength that makes her addicted to your calm. The art of listening deeply. In a culture where everyone wants to be heard, the rarest thing you can give a woman is your undivided attention. Cornel West reminds us that love is not just an emotion, it's a form of intelligence. To truly love, you must understand, and to understand, you must listen. Listening, real listening, is not waiting for your turn to speak. It's not pretending to care. It's entering into her world with empathy and curiosity. It's feeling her emotions, not fixing them. When a man listens deeply, he communicates something far more powerful than words. You matter. Most men talk to impress. They use words to show intelligence, confidence, or control. But a wise man, a Cornel West kind of man, uses silence to connect. He allows her to unfold layer by layer without judgment. There's something magnetic about a man who doesn't interrupt. A man who nods, reflects, and asks thoughtful questions. A man who looks her in the eyes not to dominate but to see her. When you truly listen, she begins to feel seen in ways few people ever make her feel. She starts associating that feeling, that rare emotional intimacy, and with you. That's what creates the addiction. Not lust, not games, but understanding. You see, women don't fall in love with looks. They fall in love with how they feel understood. When you listen deeply, you speak directly to her soul. So don't listen to reply. Listen to feel. Listen to understand what's behind her words. Because every woman is carrying stories, fears, dreams, and hopes that few ever bother to explore. If you can become the man who listens not with the intent to win, but with the intent to connect, she will find herself drawn to you again and again. Not because you gave her answers, but because you gave her presence. And in the end, that's what love really is. The meeting of two souls who are fully present with each other. The power of purpose. There's a fire that lives inside every man. Some let it burn quietly. Others let it consume them completely. But the rare few learn to direct it, to channel their fire toward purpose. Cornel West once said, "You can't be a love warrior if you're not willing to wrestle with despair." That means to truly love. To truly attract, you must first confront yourself. You must wrestle with your weaknesses, your distractions, your aimlessness, and rise with clarity. Purpose is the invisible magnet of attraction. It makes a man walk differently. It gives weight to his silence and depth to his words. A man with purpose doesn't need validation. His mission validates him. When a woman senses that your life has direction, that your actions are driven by something higher than approval, she feels a profound sense of respect. Respect that quickly turns into admiration. Admiration that quietly becomes emotional addiction, because purpose creates polarity. It builds mystery. It shows her that your world doesn't revolve around her, but that she's welcome to join a world already filled with meaning. Men without purpose seek pleasure. Men with purpose create meaning. The first drains energy, the second generates it. So don't ask what makes you attractive. Ask what gives your life meaning. Ask what you're willing to sacrifice for, to build for, to endure for. Because the man who knows his purpose becomes unstoppable. He doesn't beg for love. He inspires it. He doesn't chase connection. He embodies it. His focus, his drive, his conviction, those are the flames that pull her closer. In a world full of uncertainty, a purposeful man becomes a lighthouse. And every woman deep down is drawn to that steady light, not because he offers safety, but because his soul refuses to drift. That's the third beautiful behavior. Purpose. The energy that makes you unforgettable even when you're silent. The strength of boundaries, in love as in life. What you allow defines you more than what you pursue. And yet, many men confuse love with sacrifice, thinking that saying yes to everything will make her stay. But Cornel West teaches something deeper, that genuine love is grounded in dignity. Boundaries are not walls to keep her out. They're doors that show her where you stand. They communicate that you have a spine, not just a heart. They tell her that your respect for yourself is non-negotiable. A man without boundaries becomes invisible. His opinions fade, his desires weaken, his presence loses edge. But a man who knows what he stands for, that's the man who commands attention without saying a word. When you set a boundary, you teach her how to love you. When you say no calmly without anger, you reveal emotional maturity. And that maturity breeds respect, which later transforms into attraction. You see, boundaries are not about control. They're about clarity. They're about showing that you are not afraid to lose her, because you've already found yourself. Cornel West speaks often about integrity, and this is what he means in love. To remain true to your principles even when emotions tempt you to compromise. The moment you start betraying your truth to please someone else, you begin to lose the very thing that made you attractive in the first place, your authenticity. So hold your ground. Speak your truth with kindness but firmness. If she truly respects you, she'll lean in closer, not pull away. Because deep down, every woman wants to know that the man she's drawn to can lead himself. Boundaries build mystery. They make your presence feel valuable, not available. They turn your energy from something ordinary into something sacred. That's the fourth beautiful behavior: boundaries. The invisible framework that keeps your soul intact while inviting love to grow with honor. The grace of gratitude. Finally, there's a behavior so simple, so quiet, that most men overlook it completely: gratitude. Cornel West calls gratitude the echo of love. It's the awareness that every moment, every connection, is a gift. Gratitude transforms how you see the world and how the world sees you. When a man lives with gratitude, he carries a lightness. He doesn't complain about what's missing. He celebrates what's here. He doesn't approach a woman from a place of lack. He approaches her from fullness. And women feel that. Because gratitude is rare in a world full of entitlement. Most people seek to take. The grateful man gives energy simply by existing. His presence feels like sunlight. Warm, consistent, nurturing. A woman becomes addicted to a man who notices beauty in small things, who appreciates her effort, who compliments her spirit, not just her appearance, who says thank you not because it's polite but because he genuinely feels it. Gratitude softens your tone. It sharpens your awareness. It connects you to something sacred beyond ego, to the essence of love itself. When you live with gratitude, you become a mirror that reflects abundance. You stop needing validation because you already feel full. You stop competing because you already feel blessed. And that fullness and that peace and becomes magnetic. Gratitude also makes you resilient. It allows you to endure heartbreak without bitterness, to learn from rejection without losing faith. Because even when love doesn't go your way, you still find meaning in the experience. That's the fifth beautiful behavior: gratitude. The quiet grace that turns ordinary moments into sacred ones and makes your energy unforgettable. The radiance of compassion. In a world that teaches men to harden, to suppress, and to conquer, the rarest strength you can possess is compassion. Cornel West often says that justice is what love looks like in public. Compassion is what love looks like in private. The gentle force that turns strength into safety and authority into warmth. When you show compassion, you're not showing weakness, you're showing depth. You're telling the world, I can feel your pain and still remain strong. And when a woman feels that from you, she experiences something few men can offer: emotional intelligence. Compassion means listening when she's overwhelmed, not with the intent to fix but to comfort. It means understanding that her emotions are not attacks, no, they're expressions. It's the ability to be strong without being cold and soft without losing control. Most men mistake compassion for submission, but it's the opposite. It takes power to stay calm when others break down. It takes maturity to understand before reacting. Compassion is strength under control. A compassionate man doesn't judge. He connects. He doesn't run when she's emotional. He becomes the anchor she didn't know she needed. He doesn't take offense when she's upset. He sees the pain behind her words. This is the kind of man Cornel West calls a love warrior, one who fights not with ego but with empathy, one who knows that love is not about possession. It's about understanding. When you bring compassion into a relationship, you bring healing. You create an emotional space where vulnerability becomes beautiful instead of dangerous. You turn conflict into communication, silence into safety, and presence into peace. And the truth is, Women never forget the men who made them feel safe to be soft. Because in that safety their hearts open. And when a woman's heart opens fully, she doesn't just love you, she trusts you with her soul. That's the sixth beautiful behavior. Compassion. The quiet power that turns masculine energy into something divine. The presence of authenticity in a world full of noise, pretending and masks. The most attractive thing you can be is real. Cornel West speaks often about the courage to be yourself in a world that constantly pressures you to be somebody else, and that's exactly what authenticity is, the courage to be honest. Even when honesty is uncomfortable, authenticity isn't perfection. It's truth. It's showing up as you are, flaws and all, without pretending to be what you think others want. It's being consistent in your words and actions. It's being transparent with your intentions. A woman can feel authenticity immediately, because truth has an energy. It's raw, it's steady, and it's magnetic. You don't need to impress her with grand gestures when your honesty already shines through every small one. Authenticity also means living in alignment with your values. If you say you're loyal, you stay loyal. If you say you're kind, you act kind, even when no one is watching. Your consistency becomes your charisma. The man who hides behind lies might win attention, but the man who stands in his truth earns loyalty. Women become addicted not to fake confidence, but to real presence. They sense when your energy is clean, when your intentions are pure, when your actions match your words. That kind of truth is rare. It's grounding. It's irresistible, because authenticity makes love sustainable. You don't have to remember the lies you told. You don't have to perform to keep her interested. You just exist, and your honesty becomes your allure. So stop performing. Stop apologizing for who you are. Stop shrinking your light to make others comfortable. Because your authenticity is not arrogance, it's clarity. That's the seventh beautiful behavior, authenticity. The fearless truth that makes your soul unforgettable. The legacy of love now that we've walked through these 7 beautiful behaviors. Emotional stability, deep listening, purpose, boundaries, gratitude, compassion, and authenticity. Remember this. You don't need to do these things to make her addicted to you. You need to become them. Cornel West reminds us that love is a form of death, the death of your ego so that compassion and truth can live. That's what this journey is really about. It's not about manipulating attraction. It's about embodying greatness. Because when you become a man of peace, she feels peace. When you live with purpose, she feels inspired. When you act with compassion, she feels safe. When you speak with authenticity, she feels seen. Attraction isn't a trick, and it's a reflection. The way she reacts to you is simply the way your energy speaks to her soul. So don't chase women. Don't chase validation. Chase mastery. Chase discipline. Chase peace. Because when you master yourself, everything else begins to orbit around your presence. And one day you'll look back and realize, you didn't just make her addicted to you. You made her respect you, trust you, and love you in a way that transcends physical attraction. That is the power of a man who loves with wisdom, lives with truth, and walks with soul. That is the power of Cornel West's philosophy. Love with integrity, serve with courage, and lead with heart. So be that man. Be the calm in the storm. Be the light that doesn't flicker. Be the presence that makes love sacred again. Because the greatest love story you'll ever live begins the moment you decide to love yourself enough to become the man you were meant to be.